Welcome to Food Travelers. In this episode, we are in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and we are actually visiting a famous restaurant spot on the really famous Route 66.
Yes, Simon. So this restaurant is called Mesa Provisions, and it is a James Beard recognized restaurant from 2024 and 2026. They are closed on both Mondays and Tuesdays, and they're open on Wednesdays to Sundays from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. And it is recommended to make reservations prior to coming here, and it's also mentioned to do that on their website. And I'm really glad that we actually made reservations because this restaurant was really busy. And one thing I did want to mention was when you're making the reservations online, there will be an option for standard table seating option and also sitting at the bar. And it is also required to provide a credit card to make the reservation, as on their website or on the reservations website, it does say that no shows or cancellations less than 24 hours in advance. There is a fee of $20 per person. And also it does say that they have a maximum size of 8 people that they can accommodate, and there is a 22% gratuity that will be added for parties of 5 or more. And another thing that I thought was pretty interesting was the table reserved for 2 people or less is 1 hour 30 minutes, and parties of 2 or more have 3 hours of reservation.
Yeah, Micah, and just to reiterate, definitely we came on a Saturday, so definitely if you're going on a weekend, we definitely recommend doing reservations, or else you probably most likely won't get a seat because it was pretty packed. Pretty much from end to end, and the second floor that we were sitting on as well, Micah.
Yeah, I thought the layout of the restaurant was pretty nice and unique. From the website, I didn't really notice that they had a second floor seating, and I thought it was a pretty small restaurant, but walking in there and getting sat on the second row or floor, it was pretty nice, especially from where we were sitting. We were able to see both the bar down below and their open kitchen area.
And what we actually ended up ordering, Micah, was the tasting menu. That also it comes with a wine pairing, but we didn't get those, so we ended up getting our own cocktails. Cocktails, Micah, they were, I say, relatively pricey, but they were actually really good, and so I ended up getting 2 of the same cocktails that I actually had.
Yes, I definitely thought the cocktails were pretty expensive. It kind of felt like it was Vegas pricing or something higher. For Albuquerque, I thought the pricing for the set menu was pretty good, but not the cocktail. So the tasting menu we got is a 5-course, and on when I was emailing them asking about their tasting menu, they did say that all parties must participate in the tasting menu. And tasting menu starts off with the fried mushroom with a bean dip. From the start of the meal, I thought it was a pretty good one. It was light, crispy, great flavors to that one.
Yeah, this is a great starter. It was definitely light with the mushrooms. It's a fried miyatake mushroom, and to me, Micah, this really reminded me of just kind of like a corn chips and dip, and so that's kind of where it brought me to when I was eating through it. I really did enjoy it. It was quite tasty, and it is definitely different, unique. Definitely with how they made the mushrooms crispy. That pretty much replaced the chips, and then of course with the bean dip and the smoked jalapeno and crispy onions, that all together just ended up being a really nice combination together.
Yeah, that's a great way of describing the dish as a bean dip or chips and dip. Yeah, it definitely has that texture to it and all the flavors for that. Another thing I did not mention was part of the tasting menu. There was an option for wine pairing, as Simon had mentioned earlier before, and doing 2 cocktails was probably equivalent to the wine pairing in itself. And next up on our tasting was the smoked trout tostada.
Yeah, Micah, this dish came with the smoked trout, of course, and then avocado, lemon salsa, radish, cilantro, and mint. This was actually really good. It was a great follow-up because we had a nice kind of hearty, light piece, and then it was a little bit heavier with a really nice flavor because the salted trout was really nice. It really brought out the flavors. For a moment there, I kind of thought about smoked salmon. It kind of had that similar taste and feel to it, and I really enjoyed it, and especially with the lemon salsa and the avocado and the radish, the cilantro and the mint, the freshness kind of cut down on that salt as well. So the combination was really good.
Yeah, I thought the smokiness of the trout was pretty good. It kind of reminded me of maybe like an open flame smoke to it, rather than maybe like a closed pit that you get from like Texas barbecue. But the next one up here was that smoked pork taco. I thought overall it was good, but having had so much smoked pork in Texas, I thought it was lacking some smokiness to this one.
I'm in agreement. Of the 5 dishes, this probably was my least favorite, and not because it didn't taste good or anything. It's just the texture of the pork. It's just not what you're used to, because if we've been to Texas so many times that we've eaten great pork, smoked pork, and just this, just wasn't quite there for me. And so on my end, I thought just portions of it were a little dry, and that's one of the hardest things, is once you take the bite and it does that mouth dryness thing to you, and so that kind of hits you like right away. I kind of thought maybe with the duck fat tortilla, maybe that would have balanced it out and added a little bit more moisture to it, but it didn't seem to be the case.
And here I did get this beet juice cocktail, and when I was drinking it, Simon did ask me this question: did it taste a little earthy too, or muddy? I'm like, yep, that's exactly what I got. I thought it was kind of interesting. It's like a mixture of beets and I think tequila or something else, and it was just a different type of vibe to it that I was looking for. But moving along for the fourth, the main entree dish here is that coffee and chocolate rubbed lamb wrap with carrot mole. I really enjoy this one, Simon. I'm usually not a lamb person or a fan of lamb at all, because usually with lamb, there's a lot of gaminess to it, and it's not the type of flavor that I enjoy. But with this one, it was so tender, and I think with how they rubbed it and seasoned it, you could not taste the lamb in itself. It just tasted like a really high-end, like maybe filet mignon or something. That was the vibe that I got from it.
Yeah, Micah, I mean, if you've watched enough of our episodes, you know that Micah and I have pretty similar palates. And with Micah, I'm not a lamb person. I've had it a couple times before, and I've never been able to finish it. But in this case, it was just wonderfully tender. I actually told Micah I wouldn't mind flying back to Albuquerque just to go have the lamb here, because I was surprised that I would actually like it that much. And it was really delicious, and so it's definitely something that blew me away.
And last of all, for our dessert is the coconut tres leche, or leches. But this dish, okay, when I first took a bite of it, I told Simon, this really reminded us of something else. It's kind of like that Vietnamese 3-bean dessert drink. I think it's called cha ba mao. I don't know how to say it correctly, but it's this cold dessert drink with mung bean paste, green pandan jelly, and red bean. I thought that was really good.
Yeah, it really did. The flavors just brought something back, and it's a coconut tres leches, and it reminded me of kind of a mung bean dessert in Southeast Asia, if you ever had that. But overall, it was just really surprising restaurant. I mean, we read some of the reviews and everything as we were kind of researching where to go and see to eat in Albuquerque, and this was a place that popped up. It actually surpassed my expectations, Micah. I'm really happy we ended up coming here and having dinner, because it actually changed my mind on lambs, and so I may have to try it again someplace else, and hopefully it's just this good as they do it. To wrap up this episode is our notables for Mesa Provisions. The first notable is the smoked trout tostada, packed with flavor. The salted trout with avocado, lemon salsa, radish, cilantro, and mint was a wonderful starter. A wonderful balance of salty, crunchy, savory, and southern flavors made each bite a treat leading up to the main course.
And for this notable is the lamb rack Rubbed with the coffee and chocolate and served alongside the carrot mole, the preparation completely transforms the meat. It eliminates any gaminess you get from the lamb. It's so tender, the texture just melts in your mouth like a high-end filet mignon. And to support our channel, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for the YouTube algorithm. And for more photos, follow us on Instagram. See you guys on the next episode.